Holland O. Vandernoothoff is a really interesting fellow who I've interviewed before. We'll have him back on when the film comes out, but he's done deep research, and he's part of the film team. Holland, you've worked on the Oklahoma City connections to Oklahoma. Just real fast, rattle some of those off.
Well, we have a lot of concrete connections. For one, Hussein al-Husseini, who was named as John Doe number 2 by Jana Davis at KFOR TV in Oklahoma, filmed, named specifically by witnesses on the scene as that was the man who was in the truck, Hussein al-Husseini. He later works for Boston's Logan Airport on the day of 9/11. He was a baggage handler. And as I recall, 2 of the hijackers flew out of there, and that's where their luggage went through, and they found the incriminating will and so forth. And then you have, like, Melvin Lattimore, a man whose original credit cards were used in the first World Trade Center bombing in 1993. He was a known Confederate of Tim McVeigh and friends of Tim McVeigh in 1995 before the bombing. And later on, he was a roommate of the 20th hijacker, the 20th 9/11 hijacker.
And the guy that got his head sawed off, he was at an air base and loaned his laptop to one of the 9/11 people.
He was on a bus in Oklahoma City and loaned his laptop to one of the hijackers who used it to email the 20th.
That's right, a bus.
Actually loaned it to someone, an unknown person who used it to email the 20th hijacker in Minnesota. But this was like in year 2000. I mean, they didn't have wireless access on buses back then. I don't think they even have it now.
The point is, this is a spy nest.
Yeah. Sure. So, I mean, there was at least one researcher who appeared before the 9/11 Commission to testify that Norman, Oklahoma was home to an al-Qaeda cell prior to 9/11. Well, no one's ever been prosecuted or arrested in this cell, so obviously what was going on, there may have been some kind of logistics or support cell going on, but there were a lot of things going on, and the only way to view all of these events, World Trade Center 93, Oklahoma City, 9/11, is that they're not isolated. They are connected. They use some of the same people. They use the same SOPs, the same cover-up methods. They disregard the videotapes of the Pentagon. We've never seen a plane crashing into the Pentagon. We've never seen the videotapes of what happened in front of the Murrah building.
They wire a building, fly a plane in, wire a building, bomb a truck.
It's not bad enough that they blow up a truck bomb outside the building or they fly a plane in the building. They got to wire the building with explosives to increase the body count. It's the same SOP. And and one of the points about this movie is unless we confront the people who are doing this, bring them to justice, this is going to keep on going. It's going to keep on happening, and each time it's going to get worse.
How did you get involved in this?
I'm from Oklahoma. I started researching the case, and I started doing some research on my own, putting out a hand-printed newsletter that I would hand out, and I met Chris Emery at an event where he's handing out copies of Final Report.
September of 05.
We started to collaborate. We started collaborating on other conferences, truth conferences, low-power FMs, radio shows, and this is just another step in trying to expose the truth. It's been an honor. It's been, this meeting Chris really set me on the path to finding the right thing to do here.
And that's Holland O. Vandernoothoff. Pronounce it right?
Vandernoothoff.
Vandernoothoff. I always get names wrong here.
It's all right.
Well, it's always good to have you on. I had you on, what, 2-3 years ago?
About 3 or 4 years ago, and when I published one of my first articles about the connections between 9/11 and...
Yeah, that was a good story.
If I may, if we have a second, I want to give a special mention to Devin Winter, our director of photography and our production coordinator. Devin has actually followed a lot of your work for the last 7-8 years. He came on board with this film and he says, I'm in because I want the truth to come out. And he's actually done a lot of the commercial interviews for the official story. And he says, that doesn't hold water. He says, I want to come on board with you.
That's wonderful. We look forward to interviewing him when the film comes out. Because if they keep staging these terror attacks and blaming it on the Patriots, we're going to lose this war to defend America and save the Republic. Folks, most terrorism is staged. It's being used to enslave you and your family. Stand up and say no. Thanks for coming in, guys. Good job to the crew today. See you back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central. God bless.